Example, we're asked to find the midpoint and distance of the segments with these endpoints, -9, -7, and -3, -1. So recall that the midpoint formula just involves finding the average of the x coordinates of the 2 points and the average of the y coordinates of the 2 points. Applying these values to this equation, to this set of equations, gives me -9 plus -3 divided by 2, and -7 plus -1 divided by 2. Adding -9 and -3 gives me -12 divided by 2, and that's -8 divided by 2. This becomes -6. -12 divided by 2 is -6, and then -8 divided by 2 is -4. So that is the midpoint. So that was the midpoint formula. Recall that the distance formula is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. I'm going to assign this as x1, y1, and this as x2, y2. Again, it doesn't matter. You could do it the other way around. So distance equals, so I have x2 as -3, -3 minus -9 squared. So all of this squared plus y2, which is -1, minus -7, and that whole thing squared. This gives me -3. A negative and a negative is a positive, so plus 9 squared, plus -1, and a negative gives me plus 7 squared. Therefore, distance equals the square root of 9 minus 3 is 6 squared, and then 7 minus 1 is also 6 squared. Distance equals the square root of 36 plus 36, or the square root of 72. And I could take this a step farther and say, okay, this is the square root of 36 times 2, and then simplify that because this is a perfect square to 6 square root 2. So I found the midpoint is -6, -4, the midpoint of this segment with these endpoints, and the distance of this between these two endpoints is 6 square root of 2.